I'm going to show you how to play the verses of Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word. I put a recording of this song up on YouTube a while back, but I did some weird stuff in the verses. I had some extra measures and a couple extra beats in a few different places. But I'm going to show you a simpler arrangement that's really similar to what Elton John did. Before I jump into showing you what to play, let me explain the structure of the verses a little bit. The verses follow a repeating structure where there are 4 measure blocks that get repeated. During each 4 measure block, Elton John sings one line during the first 2 measures, and then he sings another line during the last 2 measures. And Elton John also plays little melodic lines in between the lines that he's singing, just to fill in the space and make the song a little bit more interesting. You could play the verses by repeating the same exact block over and over again, but one thing that Elton John did to make the song more interesting is he added a little variation. And the way that he did that was by changing one of the melodic lines. When I listened to Elton John do the song, I heard him doing 2 variations. So I'm going to show you how to play through the verses with 2 variations. Okay, let's jump into the first variation. You're going to start off by hitting these 2 A's together. Then you'll jump up to A and C. Then you'll do C and E. And then G and A. Okay, that's the first measure. Let me repeat that for you. Okay, and now let's go on to the next measure. You'll hit this F and this A together, and then A and D. Now you're going to go into the first melodic line, and let me just show you the melody first, which you'll play with your left hand. Okay, that was G, F, E, F. And then with your right hand, you're going to play a couple quarter notes, which will be D and A. When you put your hands together, it'll sound like this. Okay, and now let me do that whole measure for you one more time. Okay, now let's go on to the next measure. You can hit this G and this B together, and then this B and D, then D and G, and then D and F. Okay, I'll do that for you one more time. Okay, now let's go on to the 4th and last measure. You'll hit this G and C together, and then you'll hit this E, and then C, and then you'll hit this A and this F together, and then E, then you'll hit this D and this A together, and that was G sharp. Okay, let me do that measure for you one more time. Okay, so that's the whole first variation. Let me play through the whole thing for you one more time without stopping so you can see how it all fits together. Okay, so now let me explain the second variation. The second variation is really similar to the first variation. The only difference is going to be in the first melodic line that you were playing, which was this figure. Instead, you're going to play this. Okay, let me break that down for you. For the melody, you're just playing G, F, quarter notes. And then on the offbeats, you're just droning on this A with your right hand. Okay, so let me do the measure that has that part in it, the whole measure for you. Oh, sorry. Okay. So those are the two variations. Now let me explain how you can use those to play through the first verse. So the first verse is 4 blocks long. So what you can do is just alternate between the two variations. So you can do first variation, then the second variation, then the first variation again, and then the second variation again. The only other thing that you need is a little transition part that leads into the chorus. So the transition part is 1 measure long. So let me show you what you can play for the last measure of the first verse. It's pretty simple. Okay, let me break that down for you. That was G and C, and then G and E, and then G and D, and then G and B. Okay, that should be everything you need to play the first verse. Now let me explain how you can do the second verse. So for the second verse, you're really only going to use the first variation because the second verse is abbreviated. It's only 1.5 blocks long. So you can play through your first variation, and then you can start playing through the block again. And when you get to the melodic line, instead of playing one of the two variations, you'll play a little transition part that leads into the ending of the song. And so that will be 2 beats long, and what you're going to do is a D minor arpeggio going down, and it'll go like this. Okay, so that was F, D, A, F. And let me do the whole measure that has that in it for you. Okay, and that'll lead into what have I gotta do? Okay, that should be everything you need to play through the verses of this song. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, and you can check out my other videos on how to play the other parts of the song.